Hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Friday Night Smackdown August 4th, 2023 edition. So this episode of Friday Night Smackdown was the go-home show before SummerSlam, the last bit of WWE television to get through before we get to the summer spectacular that is SummerSlam. And on this episode of SmackDown, well, you would see LA Knight, and you would see Jey Uso, and you would see hype for the SummerSlam Premium Live event. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with LA Knight versus Sheamus. So Knight would pick up a signature win on Friday night, defeating Sheamus in the opening contest. It was not without controversy, you could say. The competitors in the Slim Jim Battle Royal made their presence felt at ringside, which led to a distraction finish that Knight took advantage of to pick up the win. And rather than just having the guys involved in the Battle Royal simply surround the ring and basically turn it into a lumberjack match, it basically became a lumberjack match. There was at least some effort put into presenting ongoing rivalries while highlighting Knight with a physical bout with the Celtic Warrior. The crowd is still also behind LA Knight from start to finish. The reaction to his entrance all the way through the victory continues to make him look like a genuine star. It is further evidence that WWE has a breakout star in the form of a guy who has found success in every stop in his career. Now, what WWE does with him after SummerSlam is certainly a question worth tuning in to see what the answer will be. So yes, LA Knight probably going to win that Slim Jim Battle Royal, but what does he do? Where does he go from there? The OC versus the Brawling Brutes, and well, let's just say this match started but did not finish. Well, correction, it did finish, but not with one of these two teams winning. No, instead a new trio would debut. There have been some teases of a business relationship between the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, and on Friday we would see the debut of the newest trio in WWE, Lashley, Ford, and Dawkins. So the match ends in no contest, but it was secondary to the angle that would play out after the bell. Ford and Dawkins have now leveled up. They won from the beloved Good Guys with solo cups to a tag team that, well, depending on how this plays out, could threaten any team. Certainly got off to a good start here, especially with the influence of the Almighty behind them. It remains to be seen if the duo will become bad guys, given the crowd reaction to their debut. If WWE is going to try to force it, but regardless, it's what WWE has done with Ford and Dawkins is a refreshing change for two guys who have been looking for a spark, and people have been talking non-stop about changing the Street Profits. So here you go, everybody. Street Profits have been changed, and it was a successful debut. And then Paul Heyman speaks. So Jey Uso, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa put the finishing touches on the tribal combat match with an in-ring segment that could define the next chapter of the Bloodline saga. Uso would tell Sikoa that he is the victim of the same manipulation that Jay and Jimmy used to endure. Heyman attempted to denounce the claim, but Sikoa stopped him, and then that led to a super kick from Uso, which was a tease for the night's main event. More good stuff involving this storyline. Even the shorter, more compact promo segments are great. This segment did not need Reigns to accomplish what it did. Uso planted the seed that the Enforcer might be realizing what games the Tribal Chief are playing. Perhaps Solo Sikoa is thinking of his exit strategy. And it will be interesting to see what follow-up occurs later in the show when these two square off in the main event. That being Jey Uso versus Solo Sikoa one-on-one. And if there are any concerns about Uso not looking strong enough to enter in SummerSlam, well, I think those concerns might no longer be valid, as he defeated Sikoa clean and in the center of the ring using Roman Reigns' own spear and continuing to build more momentum ahead of the biggest match of his career. The crowd was hot, the chemistry was there, and this was a good enough match that perhaps WWE will revisit it down the line. Even in defeat, Cole looked strong. It took an unexpected finisher to stun him, and a top rope splash to put him away. Tribal Combat is going to be a very unique matchup, I would say, and not in terms of the stipulation. It's basically just gonna be a no-holds-barred match, but it has potential to be something magical, a drama-driven match that will either put a bow on one of the greatest storylines in WWE history, or propel it forward as Reigns continues his run atop the industry. Either way, the main event of SummerSlam feels like it is going to be professional wrestling at its finest. So, in conclusion, WWE did a solid job of putting the final touches on the hype for SummerSlam with this go-home episode of SmackDown. Jey Uso was featured. The booking shined a light on the Battle Royal combatants, and the triple threat match for the Women's Championship was featured nicely with 3 different and unique video packages featuring those involved. It did not settle for just hyping SummerSlam. Instead, this broadcast also featured angles that involved multiple superstars that will be featured beyond the summertime spectacular, like the new trio of Lashley, Dawkins, and Ford. Also, AJ Styles and Sheamus. I know next week Styles goes one-on-one across, and hopefully that match is the end of it between those two. And maybe we can get AJ Styles versus Sheamus, maybe Brutes versus OC, maybe, although those two are probably going to want to go after the trio of Lashley, Ford, and Dawkins. Nonetheless, WWE Creative walked a fine line and delivered a strong, entertaining night of television ahead of a show that, well, has the potential to shape what the programming for WWE is going to look like going into the fall, and possibly the winter, more likely the fall. So yeah, SummerSlam is going to be an interesting show. This is what is currently on the card. As you see on your screen, the matches highlighted are my winners for each match. It might seem like, it might not be the most inspiring pick list, but sometimes you just gotta go with the obvious candidate. It's a little bit different than picking NFL games. But as for the SummerSlam Battle Royal, the Slim Jim Battle Royal, give me the LA Knights as my winner. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.